All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Stories from a Mountain Town. Today, we're doing a virtual episode. I'm here with my good buddy Alex Marolt. He is coming to us live via Zoom from all the way from Roseville. Or no, are you in Champlin?
I'm in Champlin right now, but yeah,
Wonderful.
Roseville, Champlin.
Well, from the Twin Cities, from Minnesota, and I am here in Wilson, Wyoming. Al, welcome back to the podcast.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for having me. Recurring guest.
Yeah, I think besides you, Tay, and our other friend Alex, I think are the only recurring guests so far. Yeah, you guys, just you three.
It's an honor.
Yeah, definitely. And today, so what are you drinking? We just grabbed beers, but
I'm drinking. Can you see it in the Zoom? I'm drinking McGolden, and I did this specifically for the podcast. It's a Minnesota special.
Yeah,
you go pretty much like anywhere else. Like a lot of people don't even know that it exists.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was in South Carolina and I kept trying to order McGoldens, and they kept just handing me McUltras.
Yeah,
I was like, what the hell? Like, what's going on here? I was like, oh yeah, you guys don't know what that is.
Yeah. Have I told you like why McGolden is a thing only in Minnesota? I learned this from like a beer distributor I was talking to one day.
No, I don't know. I actually don't even know why.
So Miller, being in Milwaukee, has pretty strong market share throughout all the Midwest, basically, into Minnesota and Iowa and Wisconsin, obviously.
Right.
And Michelob was wanting to figure out how to steal some of that from them in a safe way. So they came up with McGolden, and I don't know like the difference really in how they make McGolden versus their other beers. But I guess it fits better with Minnesotans because then they only decided to sell it in Minnesota, Iowa, and Western Wisconsin. So
that's
like
crazy.
They don't even sell it in like Madison or Milwaukee, but they will sell it in like Hayward.
That's so weird.
Yeah,
that's such a weird dynamic. Like our taste buds just like are like prepared for McGolden more than other states.
Yeah, and now it's probably turned into like, like you just said, like it's a Minnesota thing because now we know
it's
that
like
it's only there.
Exclusivity now. Yeah.
So now it's like a different thing. But at the beginning, it was like an attempt to get some to steal some market share.
Well, that's a good idea because Miller sucks.
Yeah, I hate Miller. And I have Earned It Hazy IPA from Snake River, and I'm repping my Snake River hat. You guys see that? Oh yeah.
Shout out Snake River.
Represent, yeah. So I put there is an ad for Snake River on this now. So just a reminder to everybody that's listening that lives around here, there is I don't think they're doing food anymore, but you can still buy 6-packs from the brewery, and you can find them anywhere in any liquor store that you normally find them. So go check them out because they're one of the many businesses that are being affected by this shutdown. They can't serve us, and they don't have the tourists coming in to buy the right stuff. Anyways, cheers.
Cheers, man.
Virtual cheers. So, it's been a while since the listeners heard from you, and you did something pretty big in that time.
Yeah.
Among many things, but you started your own podcast.
I did.
What's
yeah,
it
was. So it's whose pick is it anyways? And it's me and a buddy of mine, Andrew Colvard. The idea was actually his to start one. He actually has a background in communications and media. It's something he's always wanted to do. And how it started was actually I was just the first guest that he had. He thought I'd be like really good with the idea of the podcast. And I went on, and he was like, "Yeah, do you want to just do this like full time? Do you want to just like have a 2-person podcast?" And I was like, "Sure, man, that sounds cool." So we've just kind of started from there. I think we're like 13 episodes in so far, so it's still pretty new, but it's been fun. It's fun to get up, and I know I've bounced some ideas off of you with your podcast going and everything. So it's been pretty cool.
Drew asked me a bunch of questions. You still there? Oh, there. Drew asked me a bunch of questions right when he was starting it about like the functionality of the app. Has he showed you into Anchor at all?
Yeah, I've played around there a little bit. For what we have going right now, not a ton to it. But doing like some analytics, I guess, just looking at like but mostly just listeners. Looking for increase in listeners is pretty much where we're at this point because it's still so new. So it's pretty much friends, family, extended friends, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you're on I just looked, you're on episode 15 is the latest.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's pretty good. What you've been trying to do like once a week, and it looks like, right?
Yeah. So we started off with just once a week, and then obviously during all of this, like we have, a bunch of time on our hands. So we've done a couple more, and we've actually had quite a few more people reach out who want to come on. So the thing with our podcast is we pretty much leave it open to, we don't reach out to people to come on.
Mm-hmm.
We say, you have to bring an idea to us to get on the podcast.
Yeah.
But like a lot of our friends and stuff say, oh, I listened to it, it's cool, I want to be on the podcast. So we say, sweet. So we kind of have a backlog right now. So we started pumping off 2 a week during COVID and all this going on.
Yeah, nice. I've had like the opposite. I've had the issue of like because I can't meet with people in person,
Yeah.
and that's how I like to do it. And it's like you a lot of my guests are just like new people that I just hit up and say, do you want to come on the podcast, or like meet and say, hey, sounds like you would be a cool guest.
Yeah.
So I haven't been able to find anybody new, or like the people that I would like to get on, I don't want to ask them because we're supposed to be quarantining. So I don't want to like
Yeah, it's kind of
put
a weird
people in the
dynamic.
position to like feel like they're not doing the right thing. So I've been trying to do stuff with Taylor on my own, and then now that I realize that Zoom you can just record on, this opens up everything.
Yeah, and that's what ours have been a lot of right now is just Zoom. And I mean, obviously there's like sound quality control and stuff with that, but I mean, I think people understand we're all doing the best that we can during it. So
Yeah,
that's what we've been
fucking Joe
doing ours
Rogan
on.
did this. So
did he really? I didn't even know that. Sweet.
He's done like 2 or 3 that are virtual like this.
Yeah.
And he probably still has Jamie doing the sound equalizer stuff for this,
For
and so
sure.
it still sounds a little bit better. But for the level we're at, this is totally fine. Just that we're doing stuff. That's the whole thing, just get something out there.
Yeah, and it's been like it kind of brings a different dynamic. Like we tried one where we had like 12 people on it at once. We basically had like a Zoom happy hour more or less and just clicked record.
Yeah.
So that one was like, that was pretty funny.
That was your whole the whole golf trip group?
Yeah, it was like our entire golf trip group. We just had them all on and did one of our drafts on that. So yeah, it was cool. It was hard to coordinate everyone like talking though. So it was like we had to use like hand gestures, like raise your hand, like preschool style, to speak, because otherwise everyone just talks over each other and it's like no one knows what's going on.
You gotta like have I don't know if on Zoom if you have like the guy who started it like can mute people, like just mute everyone except for the person up. That'd be a way to do it. But yeah, that'd be nuts. So we were talking before this about what's like, we were trying to think of like a little version of what you guys do that you and I could do right now. So let's get into that. So what we came up with, audience, is what was it?
Here's what I'll do first. I'll explain what it is and why we're doing this first. So I'll explain just so your listeners know what it is that we do. But basically, we started off. It's intended we do a draft every week. So for an example of that would be we built a baseball team up, but the pool that we drafted players from or people from was the NFL. So it was you had to create a baseball team with NFL players. But we also do some off the wall stuff too, where it's not just related to sports. So we had one. This is my personal favorite. Was you're going to your buddy's house for a sleepover. You're like 14 years old, and you have to bring 2 fast food items, 2 frozen food items, 2 video games, and 2 drinks. So it's just super fun because you're calling on nostalgia and you draft back and forth basically. So like, frozen food, I took pizza rolls, right? And he's like, oh shit, that's like the best frozen food item.
That's a classic.
So that's off the board. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
Nice. So do you want to get into our idea?
Yeah, let it rip.
So the idea we came up with was Alex and I have to draft 2 musicians, dead or alive, each to climb the Grand Teton with. We're trying to combine what they do with my theme of the mountain stuff, and that's what we came up with. So you're the guest. You can go first, and you can lead the way and show us how it's done.
Okay.
Since you know what you're doing.
I think my pick will give listeners kind of an idea of like the tone of my podcast as well.
Mm-hmm.
So my first pick to climb the Grand Tetons with me is going to be Willie Nelson. Now, how we do it is we explain the pick and why, right? Because you got to give a reason for it. You can't just fire a name out there.
Mhm.
So my thought with Willie Nelson, he's really old, whatever, right? And you're probably thinking, like, how is this guy going to make it up the Grand Tetons? My theory is this: nothing kills this guy. Willie Nelson has treated his body like a garbage can over the years and is somehow still kicking, and he still puts out music. I think he still performs live, actually.
I think he does some shows. Yeah, I heard. I heard on Rogan the other day that Willie Nelson switched from smoking weed to edibles because it was having too much of an effect on his lungs now.
Yeah, good of him to dial it back.
80 years later, he chills out.
Glad to see that maturity level.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I would take Willie Nelson because there are people that die trying to climb that mountain every year.
Mhm.
And I got a good feeling if I'm with Willie, at least one of us is making it to the top of that mountain.
Yeah, definitely. You might have to carry him there. It might be one of those like those old stories where it's like, and so carried the old person up the mountain and he grew stronger each time he did it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, kind of like
that.
That's going to be Willie on my back.
Yeah. And then you guys can light up at the top.
Yeah, we definitely could do that. No, not anymore though. Probably does have to do an edible at that point.
Yeah. All right.
But so Willie Nelson. So your pick.
So with my pick, I was thinking just in like the 5 minutes since you and I came up with that idea, like either what artist can I think of that has songs about mountains or has shown that they like mountains too. And I came up with John Mayer. John Mayer is my first pick.
Interesting.
Because he has lived his, like when he's not doing concerts or stuff in LA, his main residence is in Montana near Bozeman.
Okay.
So he and a lot of other artists have like started to get these mountain retreats so they can go there and write music and write their albums. That's where he writes all of his albums.
Damn. That's
Yeah.
Did a little research there. I like that pick. That's smart.
Yeah. So yeah,
okay.
So I'm picking him because he loves the mountains and he would know his way around and that'd be just fucking sick.
Yeah, that would be sweet. So I'm gonna actually piggyback off of that. You know, another person who knows the mountains, these ones in particular. My second companion climbing up the mountain is going to be Kanye West.
Kanye West, yes. He's a big fan of the Tetons.
Yeah. Yes. I remember that when I came out to visit you, you were like, yeah, he stayed right up there. So that stuck with me. So Kanye, familiar with the area, knows the lay of the land?
Yeah, he did the same thing. He got a house here that has a studio and wrote an album here. And then on the way to his album release party, took a picture of the Grand on his phone, and that was the album cover.
That's crazy.
So like, I'll just look this up right now because we can. Kanye album.
Dude, what a wild thing though. Like, could you imagine being that cool where you're just, and I guess I don't know if cool is the right word, but like that important where you're just like, oh, this phone picture will be fine for my multi-million-dollar album.
Yeah. I think the album is called Yee. I don't know.
Yeah, it's something like that. I don't know. He's weird. He's a weird guy, man.
The picture is the Tetons and says, I hate being bipolar. It's awesome. But it's just a perfect picture of the Tetons. And it's not even like crazy good lighting, but it's just like kind of artsy, aesthetic, kind of whatever. But yeah, that's a great pick.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Kanye. So I got Willie and Kanye. What a duo, Willie and Kanye.
Yeah. I have a little addition to that part of it. So where he was going to his album release party, it's a ranch north of town, up kind of north of the park, the Grand Teton National Park. And it's the same ranch that my dad and Leanne got married at.
Oh, really?
That's pretty cool. Yeah. And now it's been on like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and it's like this cool connection that I have just to like seeing that in like more in like the Hollywood eye, them being there, because I was like 12 when they got married there, so it's like a big part of my life
for sure.
So yeah, great pick.
Keep it up with the Chucks.
Yeah, keeping up with the Chucks. Chuck was really the trendsetter because they got married, like I said, when I was like 12, and then all this stuff with like the Kardashians and Kanye coming out here, it was only like the last 3-4 years. So really,
Chuck got out in front of it. You got to think they heard about it.
Yeah, yep. They might have seen us, me and Ryan and Cameron in our nice little cowboy outfits. I was like, dang, I want to go see that.
Yeah, I can't imagine, but all
right. So my last pick is a pretty specific reason, and it's pretty unreasonable, but this is a fantasy draft, so it's gonna fit. So
you can do whatever.
I'm picking Ryan Bingham.
Ooh,
you know him; he's a country artist.
That's a great pick. One of my favorite artists.
Yeah, really like Western style, twangy music. His cover that I'm looking at right now is like him sitting in a cowboy hat on a highway. That's the reason is, and I've told you this, Al. His song "Sunrise," that intro.
It's one of the best songs I've ever heard in my life.
The intro is basically what I hear when I see the sun setting over the Tetons. It's like the mountains are singing that intro whenever the sun sets. So I want him to climb it with his guitar and just play that intro when we get to the top.
Just serenade you, just really set the moment. I like that.
Yes,
that's a funny move that you're with John Mayer and you're making Ryan Bingham do the freaking music.
The worst guitar player in the group is playing guitar for us up there. Because I think Kanye could probably play guitar.
Probably. He probably could.
Yeah. All right. That was fun. Good draft. So now we got a group. We got a group of me, you, Kanye, Willie Nelson, John Mayer, and Ryan Bingham climbing the Grand sometime soon.
Yeah.
Who needs Jimmy Chin or Conrad Anker or Jeremy Jones? We got Willie Nelson. And
Count me in.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, no, that's actually really funny. But yeah, so that's kind of a little insight into what we do. Basically, we just go back and forth, and obviously we expand on the picks, and then we throw up a poll, and you have to pick which team you like better, or which, whatever side, my team or Drew's team, or one of the guests.
Yeah, I think I voted on, I don't know which episode it was, but I voted on one that you did like an image of like a house, and there's like different levels. Was that the sleepover one?
That was a recent one that we did. No, it was. Okay, so have you seen the movie 21 and Over?
Where the Asian kid who's like a pre-med student turns 21, his friends bring him out. Yeah, and the house party where each level is like something different.
So it's like the tower. Yeah, it's called the Tower of Power. So basically, like in this movie, you have to win a certain drinking game on every level, and the ultimate goal is to get to like the top level of the house.
Yeah,
and you're the drinking game king, queen, I guess, however that works. But basically, we had to draft our drinking game. We drafted levels of the house. So that's probably the one that you saw. Yeah.
Yeah. I picked the one on the right. I don't know which one that was. It ended with beer pong, I think.
Yeah, that was mine.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for your vote.
You're welcome. Yeah. So what else have you been doing in quarantine to stay busy?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, it's been driving me nuts because it's, a little bit different, obviously, here than you in Wyoming. Because, you can, a lot of the things that you like to do outside, you're still able to do and access for the most part. So for me, the most frustrating part has been that it's been so nice in Minnesota weather-wise. Like, we've had a really nice spring here, and that never happens. So it's been like 50s and sunny, and I can't golf. So that's pissed me off. But I have found other stuff to do. Like I said, started the podcast. My girlfriend Nicole and I have gotten really into cooking and trying different things out that way. We've been eating really well, so that's fun. Basically just becoming a better cook, I guess, in general.
Yeah, that's
been a big one.
More Taylor than I, but she's been experimenting with stuff we don't normally cook with, and we talked last night about that salmon thing. But she has just been on fire with like these different dishes because it's so easy to just like Google search something, and then if you don't have everything exactly in the recipe, you can just say like something alternative,
You
and
just
there's always an alternative,
Yes.
And so no matter what the recipe says, you can figure it out.
We just did tonight. We were kind of like feeling lazy, wanted like some comfort food. I made homemade chicken nuggets in the air fryer. They were so good, dude.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was fun. I'm trying to think. Well, now, so I talked about golf being closed, but now it's open. So this weekend was the first weekend in Minnesota that we were allowed to golf, and I already played 3 rounds.
Did you play today?
I played today, yeah.
Where at?
Emerald Greens in Hastings.
Did you? Why'd you go there? You went there on Saturday too. Is that just you can get around in?
It's mostly just because like I know that course is always in good shape, and I know I can always get a tee time because they have 2 courses. They have a silver course and a gold course. So I know that I can always get a tee time there. And everyone dude, courses booked up within like an hour.
Yeah.
Like the governor announced that courses were open at 11 a.m. And by like 12, most courses were like booked for the weekend. It was insane. So right away, I like logged on and booked for 2 Saturday and 1 Sunday.
Yeah.
And I was like, since I'm on the Emerald Green site, I'll just book all of them here. I don't care. I just want to play.
It seems like when I lived there, we like only played at Emerald Greens in the spring because it's like
that's why.
It's not,
yeah,
it's like you can get a tee time, and it's there's not a lot of like low lying areas or like water that isn't artificial ponds, so it's like it dries out really quickly, and it's a little bit south, so maybe like a touch warmer or touch more sun than something up north in like the woodsy areas.
Yeah, this time of year, generally, like courses aren't in the greatest of shape, but of all of them, this one tends to usually be in pretty good condition. So I like playing there, especially earlier in the year.
Yeah, the grass may be like a little bit brown, a little bit brownish, but it's always dry, and like that's fine. Like they can,
and the greens are good.
Yeah, I'm itching for when the links will open up. I think it should be one of these next couple weekends. I think Brent told me the snow is almost all gone in the playable areas, but then there's just some water that's lingering around.
Yeah, and that's like, I mean, as I've gotten older, I've gotten a little bit less antsy about like that sort of thing. Like I'd rather, especially like the links, a course that you play all the time, you'd rather have it like wait out the extra week or two, make sure the course isn't getting like demolished by people just rushing it early.
Yeah, for sure. But
that's something that happens a lot here.
Yeah, like a lot of the city courses just get messed up right that like first month that they're open, because they're just like they're not dry. Any sort of like late snow that comes through, or like rain that they get, a lot of times the ground isn't totally unthawed, so like it'll soak in the top layer that's unthawed, but then at the bottom, the freeze below it still isn't letting it soak fully down, so it like just lingers and stays wet.
And those courses don't recover, because then in the summer, like the grass goes in all shitty and stuff. Like it's not great to play on.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's been a weird. I'm not quite sure what to do with my days when I'm not working, because I don't like the snow. The snow for like skiing stuff is not that nice right now, because it's like really warm and whatever, and it's not powder anymore, which makes me sound really spoiled about it, but that's what I like to do. And then none of the mountain bike trails are open yet, so there's still snow on them. So I've kind of just been like, I went on like a run today. Me and Bridger this morning at like 7 a.m. I woke up and went for a 2-mile run on the paths around my house.
Yeah. I've been doing a lot of that too, actually, which I don't like. And here's the thing, like I've been doing it because like I know that I have to. I can't just like sit on my ass all day during this. But like, dude, I hate running. I actually hate it.
Really?
I like really, really don't like. And it's not like I don't hate it from like a lazy aspect, but it's like I'm not good at, if I don't have like a goal, right? Like in baseball, I could run to a base, or in football, like, okay, I have to run, you're running towards the end zone. Like I'll run fast, like whatever. But like,
or even like conditioning, when we're in those sports, you still have a goal of like getting better for your sport that you love. Right now, it's just like the self motivation, because like you should be doing something active and you don't want to get fat.
Yeah, and like that's why I still do it. But like I know there's a lot of people who enjoy it, like most people almost like enjoy getting out and going for a run. And I do feel good about it after I've done it. I feel like accomplished, but like during it, I'm like, I like actually am not having any fun. This is super unenjoyable for me. And
Yeah.
it's not like from being tired. It's just like I don't know. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, I don't like it on treadmills because I have ADD, so I'm just like always like, wow, there's nothing
Yeah.
else to look at. But like running around outside, especially here, there's so much to look at. Like I was the whole time like looking around for like elk and moose and like animals, and the mountains are around, the sun is coming up, and like Bridger's with me, so I gotta like keep an eye on him, and like the
Yeah,
house
like
is
see, like,
around.
and that's different because like because you have stuff going on. Like I'm running around like suburban Champlin. Like
Mm,
I've explored all the paths. I've done all the things now. Now it's like, all right, better head out and hit my track here, and you know what I
yeah,
mean. Like there's not much to see. There's a house there. There's a park there. Like
yeah,
it's kind of the same old stuff that you'd see in pretty much any suburban city.
definitely, yeah. Is Nicole's place close to the river there? Isn't there like cool paths by the river?
It's um yeah, I guess it is. I would have to drive there and then go for a run. And at that point, I'm just trying to get my run in for exercise anyway, so I'll just do my normal track.
Yeah. Yeah, my only like real memory of like Champlin is when I worked for the window company, I went to like their city uh festival thing, and it's like in this park right along the river. But
Oh, okay.
anyways, yeah, I've been getting so bored like because, we're kind of moving in, we have some projects around the house. I do my exercise or I walk the boys and I play some Xbox, and then like that doesn't take that much of my day when I'm not working.
Yeah, dude.
So yesterday I cleaned the inside of my truck, which was a nightmare because I'm just like we don't have a car wash that does inside and outside.
How many pounds of dog hair did you pull out of there?
Dude, so much, and there's still so much left. And it like
You can't ever get it all out. Like,
no, it weaves into like the material, so I have to like I like rub it, and then I like pulls it out of the material, at least unweaves it, and then I can suck it
yeah.
up with a vacuum. So I was just sitting in my truck like wax on, wax off, and then sucking it out.
It's just Mr. Miyagi in your truck.
Yeah, Mr. Clean, Mr. Miyagi, or something like. Did that and like wipe down all the surfaces because they just kind of get grime and muddy from the dogs, and like clean the windows, and then brought it to the car wash to get the outside cleaned.
Mm.
And then today the same thing happened. I got bored, and I was like, I'll just go clean Taylor's. And I started doing Taylor's, and if mine was a nightmare, Al, hers is like torture, like hell. Like you would have thrown
Dude,
up if you saw what it was like.
she's a girl. I don't know what it is. Like, have you ever seen a female with a clean car? And it's not dirty as in like gross necessarily. It's just like there's shit everywhere.
Hers was both.
Mm.
Hers
Mm.
was hers was like a winter of dog hair in the back, dog hair and like dirt and mud from them in the back, and like a bunch of blankets that were all dirty then because they were just sitting there.
Dude.
So I was like taking off each blanket one by one. I was like, because it was like clumped up mud and dirt and like hair, and there was like 6 blankets just clumped up back there. I'm like, why do you have so
Dude,
many back here?
they collect things because they're like, oh yeah, remember that day like 4 months ago when we went camping and I was worried I was gonna get a little bit chilly, so I brought a blanket. And you're like, okay, but what about the other 5 of them? How'd you acquire those? She's like, yeah, like similar situations. I just kept grabbing them.
Yeah, well, we usually keep like
And
one
then
or two for the dogs there.
dude, the worst part, and then you go lay on the couch and they're like, I'm cold. Can you grab me a
Yeah.
blanket? And you're like, we don't have any. She's like, yeah, we do. And you're like, where? I'm like, oh, I have like 6 in my car.
Yeah. Well, we usually keep a couple in there for the dogs and sit in the back, but like 2 at the most. And that's why I was so confused, because I was like, why are there 6 here?
It's
And then
outrageous.
this was just a little bit of poor timing, and then like she just got lazy. So she was gonna like donate all these clothes to a Goodwill or something that she didn't wear anymore. So she put them all in her car, and then like that day everything closed. So she couldn't. So they were kind of sitting in there. So just like, let's just put them in the shed for now. Get them out of your car so I can clean it. But here's the kicker, Al. So earlier today, and I'm totally sewering Taylor in this, I got an earful for being lazy and dirty. Now,
Oh man, dude, that's a tough accusation,
right? And okay,
you're like, why are you dating me at this point?
I know, like the lazy thing I totally will push back on because I'm like I woke up at 5:30 today, read a book for an hour, and then went on a 2-mile run, and then
I
finished
can
cleaning my
admit, of all
truck.
things, you are not lazy.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
if anything, I'm too hyperactive. Like I'm always just doing shit and I can't stop. If anything, I'm
Yeah.
that. So I push back on the lazy. I'm like, bitch, no, just because I play a little bit of Xbox.
That's dude, yeah, that's because video games come with a connotation that you're lazy, which
Yeah,
isn't necessarily always true.
but yeah, then I laid it out. I laid it out in this way for her yesterday. I was like, okay, there's last night. So yesterday I did the same thing that I always do. Wake up at 5:30. I go down. I read for an hour, and then I like do like a little walk with the boys, or I'll like do some dishes or like something. Just kind of do something that's like productive. And then I like later that day, I cleaned my truck, went and got it washed, ran some errands, like went to the PO box, like did some things, like little errand things, little chore things, and
Yeah.
then like throughout that day, played like an hour and a half or 2 hours of Xbox throughout the entire day. And then when I laid it out like that, she's like, "Oh wait, no, you did do stuff." But it's just like
Mm,
that putting that Xbox in there just like taints anything around it, you know?
dude, yeah.
Like if I read for an
Yes.
hour, if she watched me read for an hour and then set down the book and pick up my controller and be like, "Look at this bum.
Get off your ass.
You going
No, dude,
nowhere
I've
with
got
that Pac-Man."
no, dude, I've got
Right?
the same thing on my end. Well, no, because Nicole's like, and I'm like, I'm not a huge like video game guy. Like, I'll mix it in occasionally, but like when I'm outside of like COVID, right? I played a ton during COVID, admittedly.
Yeah, everybody has.
It, well, yeah, but she's like, you didn't used to play video games, and I was like, I used to be able to go outside. Like,
Well, I used to not be quarantined.
yeah, I used to be able to go do things with my friends. Now this is how we communicate. So,
Yeah, and they don't even see that
so
because maybe
sorry,
because
honey,
they
we're
don't.
dropping in.
Yeah, where we dropping, fellas? Maybe I've thought this because she does like such a similar. She gets similar things, or no, we get stuff out of gaming that she gets out of like if she did like a group FaceTime with her friends and sister, or
Yeah,
did
or
like
like a
a house
Zoom happy
party.
hour or whatever.
Yeah,
Yes.
like we're getting the same thing, but we're adding that competitiveness that guys more like than girls. And it's
Right.
also just a time to like chat basically on the phone. Like it's just like headphones. Like some Xbox things are like headphones. You
Yeah,
know?
it's honestly like it's less. I'd even say this. Like, I do like the games. They're fun to play, no doubt. But like, I play because like my friends are. I'm able to play with my friends. Like, if it was
Mhm.
only me that could ever play video games, I really wouldn't play that much. Like, if at all.
Yeah, I play a
You
lot
do it.
less of Warzone
Yeah.
if it wasn't crossplay. The crossplay thing is insane.
Yeah, because you're able to. Yeah, because like I have a PlayStation, you have an Xbox, so like we can play, communicate, and we'd probably be on the phone talking anyways. So we might as well be a little bit competitive and play this game while we're doing it.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, who are just listening, uh, this Call of Duty Warzone is it's a battle royale mode to Call of Duty where
It's like
150
Fortnite, but
people, yeah, it's like Fortnite. 150 people drop in one giant map, and then the one team standing at the end wins. And there's like loot everywhere, like you pick up guns and health and stuff, all that stuff. And this newest Call of Duty, it's one of its biggest things that differentiates itself from other games and other Call of Duties is it has cross-play enablement. So in the past, if I have an Xbox One and Alex has a PS4, we couldn't play games together at all. But
right.
in this game, you can. You can play. I can on an Xbox. I can play with a PS4 player or someone on a PC. So it is just like totally opens like the amount of your friends you can play with because like you got a PS4 because of MLB The Show, right? I think that was kind of why you
Yeah.
went that way.
Yep. That was like the main
Yeah,
reason. Yeah.
and I got Xbox because I like Halo. So like we wouldn't in the past we could never game together.
Right.
Like we would have to go to each other's houses or play something or just like talk on the phone while we were gaming to get the experience we do now. But now we can actually play something together. And the Warzone feature, if you just do the Warzone feature, it's free.
Yeah, and that's what I did too. Like
Yeah.
I didn't even buy Call of Duty. I just downloaded the free version, dude. It's actually
Mhm.
insane how far stuff like that has come.
Yeah, I mean, they've had the technological ability forever. It's just like, I don't know what business case they figured out to be like, we could get so many users if we enable crossplay. Because like
Right.
you probably wouldn't have downloaded it if it wasn't crossplay, maybe not. I wouldn't play as much because I play with you and Austin and Rissy and who else? Josh's
Yeah.
PS4, Reese's PS4.
Reese or Moody or like, yeah.
Yeah, like over probably the majority of the guys I play with are actually almost everyone I play with is PC or PS4.
Yep. Other than Steve, who has Xbox, right?
Yeah, Steve, yeah. And then
Which is
like
crazy.
yeah, exactly. And like so I wouldn't play nearly as much if I didn't have that ability to play with those people.
Dude, gotta circle back on this. So okay, so that we covered the lazy part and we dispelled that. Why are you dirty? According to Tay.
Oh, dirty. Um because I'm someone this one she has somewhat of a case on. Um
Exposing your ass on your own pod.
so you always hear the thing like people put their things away in like kind of organized chaos or organized clutter. And I'm
Sure,
like kind of
sure.
one of those people where like I know where everything is supposed to go and where everything is. Like this bookshelf next to me in my office right here, it's got one, two, three, four shelves, and it's like to most eyes it would look scattered and messy, but I have exactly everything exactly how I want them in different categories that only make sense to me probably.
Yeah, and that's all it needs
That's
to make sense to though.
well, you'd think, but you don't. But I live with my girlfriend, so it has to make sense to her.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
You would think that my office could make sense to me only, but it does. It can't.
Right, right.
But so that's part of it, and she wants to come in here. What's she doing? Take him in here. No, she doesn't want to join. And then
Scared,
I don't
scared to
do a
defend
good
herself
job.
in front of the public.
I don't do a good job of keeping my closet organized. And
Mm,
actually, this is an interesting thing in our relationship. So in the house we lived in Fridley, and in the house we lived, the Saddle Butte house, my closet was in like a different bedroom than
sure.
hers because it was like small closet. So I was like, it's still just 5 feet away. So I was like, whatever, I'll just put mine in here.
Yeah.
But in this house, we have a bigger closet and we have a dresser in our room now and a bigger bedroom. So this is the first time in Taylor and I's relationship in it'll be I think 3 years. Yeah, 3 years in June that we have to have our closets and clothes together in the same room. And it's like a
That's
weird thing because I don't really care like as much about like folding and hanging. Like you know, t-shirts that I wear under sweatshirts all the time don't really need to be that folded. Or
right, right.
like hoodies like you're wearing, like I'll probably just like roll it up and throw it on a stack.
Sure.
Taylor's like everything needs to be in a stack, it needs to be folded nicely or in a basket if it doesn't fold. And so she got mad at me because she's rearranged our closet twice since we moved here. And then she pulls out that like I was for sure messy as a child. Like my room was always a mess. Like couldn't see the floor.
Yeah, yeah.
And so she's like, if I asked your brother or sister or your mom, like they would say you're messy. And I'm like, yeah, I have been messy. I'm not always messy.
Yeah, but like there's in my mind though, like that's not dirty, that's messy. And there's a difference because dirty is like you made nachos, left them in your room and the plate is growing mold and like you never just brought it down to the sink into the dishes.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Like
Like I'm still an
that's like
adult.
dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah, but dude, like there's adults that do that or like just like here's
I
like
would
I can't
I would
have
call adult, I think is not an age thing. I think it's a maturity thing.
yeah, that's fair.
Like the amount of
But
times
I have like
I think about someone like grow the fuck up.
yeah,
Like they're our
that's
age.
well, yeah, but there's a ton of that with people our age.
Yeah.
But like I have a thing too where like I I generally can't go to bed unless stuff is just like done. Or like, here's an example. I've said we've been cooking a lot.
Yeah.
I'm a big like I do the dishes like right away.
Mm.
Like a lot of people do like the like let it soak. Which, by the way, this is the biggest cop out, maybe in history, is let it soak. Because
Well,
that's
I have a question. So I would agree on most items of dishes that letting it soak is bullshit. But what if it's a pan, like a pan like you put on the stove or in the oven? Can that one time? What if that actually has to soak?
if it truly has to soak, you can still get to it that night. But I'm talking about like
Maybe
because let it soak usually ends up being like 2-3 days, and you're like, shit, this water's disgusting. I gotta get rid of this.
it really soaked. Really got to get it
Yeah, that's.
undone.
But do you see? Yeah, like you see what I'm saying though? Like it's a cop
No,
out.
yeah, I get it.
You can just
Yeah,
wash it out. So like that's a weird one that I have where it's like Nicole's like, can we just eat dinner? I'm like, okay, just like if we do this dish, then we can just eat dinner and do whatever the hell we want. We don't have to like we can just go sit. We can do whatever.
yeah. Uh, I'm a big like we don't usually do the dishes right after we eat. But then when I wake up early, that's one of the first things I do in the morning.
Mm. That's funny that you say that. You know, like the whole make your bed thing.
That's it. That's why I do it.
That's my dad does it with dishes as well. And I actually, it's funny because I do the literal sense. I actually make my bed, but it's
Yeah,
with the intention. But it's like it's not making my bed because I give a shit if my bed is made or not. Like I don't really care. It looks nice. It feels better going to bed at night, I guess. But like for the most part, I don't really care because no one sees it anyways. But like I do it with the intent of like getting a win under my belt right away, and I think it
yeah,
matters.
yeah. That's exactly why I do it. Because then, like I've told you my routine a couple times, it's like so now when I look back at a morning, you wake up early. I uh I get downstairs and I get my clothes on. I will chug a whole hydro flask
Oh,
of
I've been
water.
trying to do that too. Get water right away. Yeah.
Yeah, and then my coffee gets started, and then I'll do the dishes. Maybe I'll do something like put some laundry in the dryer or something like that, and then I'll read for an hour, like 30 minutes or an hour. And then now it's 7:30, 8 o'clock, and now look at all the productive shit I've already done. And now it's like
Yeah, dude.
we're already on this momentum of like getting shit done for the day,
I
you
really
know?
like that because, like, that's admittedly during like this quarantine thing, I've had a hard time like finding because I know like I want to. It's not that I'm not a morning person. Like I'm fine in the morning. Once I'm awake, like I'm fine. It's not like I'm like
Yeah,
cranky or anything,
the wake up part is the big piece for you.
dude. But it's insane, man. Because it's not about like. Admittedly, I stay up too late, but there are a lot of times where like I go to bed at a completely fine hour, and like
Mm.
I should be able to get up, and like I don't know what it is, man. But without an analog alarm clock, I'm up. But my phone does not do anything for me. Like I blow right through it every single day. Nicole doesn't
I
even let me
know.
set it anymore. It drives her nuts.
Does she have to wake you up? What does she do?
Either like what's been working is I actually have my Fitbit. You can set your alarm and it like buzzes on your wrist. So that actually is pretty good,
Oh, nice.
which is kind of a cool feature. Um but like yeah, or if I like somehow get through that, she'll just be like, all right, dude, like come on. You
Yeah,
gotta
I
get
used
up.
to do the same thing when we lived in St. Paul, because our rooms were right next to each other, and like you and I we worked out together for like a while.
Yeah.
We'd wake up
We'd get
early and
up
go
early
work
and
out
go.
before we go to work. And every single day, like I would get up on my first alarm, and then I would like be getting dressed, and like yours goes 1, 2, 3, and I'm like, dude, come on, let's go.
And dude, you know what sucks though? Because like that's another thing that gets associated with being lazy. And it's not like I'm not like I'm not awake, so I'm not intentionally like turning my alarm off. Like I don't remember that.
Mhm.
Like I'm still full sleeping, so like I don't remember turning it off and sleeping through it and shit. I just like all of a sudden I wake up and I'm like, oh fuck, like I missed my first 3 alarms.
Yeah, the best way to wake up early is to just go to bed earlier. Like,
Yeah, and that's
um,
like that's where it stems from 100%.
because like I can feel it. Like if say, so my alarms are set at 5:30 and then 5:45. So that's like right now it's a little bit late for bed, but it's whatever. So like if I go to bed at like 10:30 or 11, I'll have a really tough time getting up at 5:30, 5:45. But if I just like snooze it and then wake up at like 6:15, it like feels fine because then I'm like, okay, I got like whatever that is, like
Your
seven
right
or eight,
amount of sleep.
7 hours
Yeah.
ish in that range where my body is like, okay, we're fine now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
But
like
that's what I'm saying. Like even
yeah,
when I get like 8 hours, but it's probably because I ran myself into the ground like the other days before that.
yeah, for sure. Because your body, like, have you listened to like a sleep doctor before talk about like the importance of sleep?
Yeah, it's actually crazy, and I should probably take it a hell of a lot more serious than I do.
Yeah. And the one thing that I really took out of again, Joe Rogan had him on on this podcast, had a sleep scientist on there, and he said that which I kind of already knew, but like if you drink alcohol or you smoke weed or any other drugs like that, your body won't actually go into REM sleep until you burn it all off. So
Oh,
like
really?
yeah, like when it's like a thing, like you'll like have a drink to go to bed because it helps you fall asleep. You may like be unconscious and asleep kind of, but you're not in REM sleep, so you're not even really getting the rest that you need. Your brain isn't
Hmm.
like resetting like it's supposed to, So like, and if you think about it, if you go to bed like super drunk, that takes like hours to burn off. You're not even getting any REM sleep in those hours you're burning off the alcohol.
Yeah, that's crazy. I actually didn't know that.
Yeah. So, and nights that like we go out, I will stay up later and just make sure I drink a bunch of water and just let the alcohol burn off before I go to bed
Yeah.
because I'll know I'll be able to do something um early in the morning, even though if I get like an hour less of sleep, but it's an hour that I was awake burning off the alcohol rather than an hour of sleep burning off the alcohol, because your metabolism is weaker or slower when you're asleep.
Yep. Yep.
So that's what I'll do. Or just
Huh. It's a pretty
like
good
I
idea.
just drink a beer and you saw me now drinking water. So now I'll drink water to kind of like rinse that beer down so I can actually sleep quicker, get that REM sleep quicker.
Dude, I gotta tell you, man, that's been another thing during quarantine, man. Drinking.
I've been drinking so much wine, bro.
I have this thing when I cook, when I'm cooking, I feel like I want to drink wine when I'm cooking. And I don't know where that even comes from or why maybe because it's just easy to drink. Like, I don't know.
Well, it tastes good with
I
food,
mean,
like
it's
that. You
good.
know
Like
that,
it's
yeah.
good, yeah. But
I've been
I don't know, it's
hammering.
weird.
Yeah, I talked about this in the last episode. I found this Manchego cheese. So we do a lot of
Mm.
charcuterie boards, and I was in the grocery store like getting some stuff for that, and I was like, oh, let's find like I had like a dry cheese with some like nice red wine at Jeff's one day, and I was like, oh, I really like this like dry combination here. I like that better than like a Gouda or a Brie that are really creamy,
I don't
I
like
got
that
this.
very much either.
Yeah, well, I like those too, but I'm just, my tastes like move all around all the time.
Fair enough.
So I was like looking like let me find like a dry cheese and I'll get some like dry wine. It'll be good. Found this
Yeah.
Manchego cheese, probably more expensive than I should ever be paying for cheese, but it's delicious.
Dude, like good cheese is like crazy expensive. Do you know you know what so do you know that Parmesan that we have is like fake?
Like the
Like it's not
sawdust,
Parmesan cheese.
like the
It's like, well,
sawdust.
not like, I don't even know what it consists of, but it's basically like it's not real Parmesan because like real Parmesan, it's something like it's found on a certain plant or mushroom or something
Hmm.
is where it stems from, or or no, that's not it. I'm wrong on that. It's from cow, not a plant. It's from cows in a very specific region.
Mm-hmm.
So like real
Cheese,
Parmesan
it
is
has to
super
be made
rare.
in the area of Parma.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. That's what, dude. How about me with the plants or mushrooms thing? Yikes, bad take.
Yeah, that's
No, but
rough.
okay. So, anyways, but yeah, so it's from animals that in that whatever animal it comes from in that certain area, and so like a wheel of Parmesan cheese, like a wheel of it, is like
Mm-hmm.
insanely expensive, like true Parmesan cheese.
Hmm.
It's like I don't even. It's like $1,000 or something like that. It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's Parmesan Reggiano is like the
Yeah,
real version, and it's from a certain region in Italy.
yeah.
Wow. Snobby Italians and their cheese, man. Us Wisconsin,
But
us Midwesterners don't give a shit. Just fry it
put
up and
some
give us,
put some Colby Jack on that. I don't give a shit.
yeah, fry it up and dip it in ranch, and we're okay.
It's pretty much anything though, dude. You can cover up a lot of bad cooking with frying it or just dousing it in sauce.
Yeah. But yeah,
I've been
I've been
doing
hammering the wines because I'll just like, oh, 4 o'clock, let's just have a little something, something. And then I see like the cheese and meat in my fridge. And I'm like, oh, we'll do a
you're
little
like,
cheese and that. And then I'm like, oh, that goes with wine. So I don't want to drink a
yep,
beer while that. And then it's like, oh, I opened this bottle of wine. I can't just not finish it.
dude. That's like, yeah. I'm this. That's it's such a bad thing because like you absolutely can. You can just put a cork in it, put it back in the cupboard. Like it's okay to do that.
Yeah.
And in my stupid little head, I'm just like, well, I can't let this bottle go to waste.
No, you cannot. It goes stale.
Yeah, yeah. Like what?
If you waited like
Um,
20 hours, Alan, it would go stale.
yeah. That's what in my mind. That's how it works.
Yeah.
But I like cab. I've been drinking a lot of cabs.
Yeah, those are good. We like those are um so those go better with like heavier dinners where like we've been
Yeah.
doing Tempranillos. It's just like kind of mostly a
Mm.
Spanish wine, and they're a little bit lighter, not as like, well, that got really dark.
That was yeah. What happened there?
I minimize
Oh, there
this
you go. Oh, I got you. Your
my
computer screen's
screen
what's
here.
giving you the
Yeah,
light. Okay.
yeah. Um, Tempranillo is like a Spanish wine. It's a little bit lighter flavor, lighter on the tongue, so it goes better with like snacking or just like it's more drinkable, is what I might call it. You don't have to
Hmm.
like have it with like a heavy food. So we've been hammering those.
I like that. I'm not a big white wine fan. I'll drink it. It's just not my favorite. I like reds.
I prefer reds, yeah, when I'm eating anything. But I'm a sucker, and it's mostly because of like the experience I had doing this. Like a Chardonnay watching the sunset is
Mm.
pretty hard to beat. And that's
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
because of the times I've done it in California. Because that's like Santa Rosa is like Chardonnay country. Like that's where they do
Okay.
Chardonnays. And where my step grandpa Hank lived, right after his house burned down in the fire. I sent you for sure sent you videos when I was there.
Yeah,
It
you
was
did.
like this house on a vineyard, um, and that whole area of Santa Rosa, it has these really big rolling hills. It's like they're like maybe 300 foot of vertical hills, just like rolling the whole countryside all the way to the ocean. And his was on the top of one, on the edge of one, and he had a hot tub on the edge of this hill looking west toward the ocean. You couldn't see the ocean, but you could see like these rolling hills all the way out there.
Yeah.
And so we're like drinking like a Chardonnay in the hot tub, like watching the sunset in California. And it was just like, that's like pretty hard to beat.
That's a pretty good scene. Yeah.
Yeah. And it like, you look over some like redwood areas too. So you can see like some really crazy trees. So it's like, it's just, that's a lot of like my like eating and drinking behavior. And even just like, a lot of behavior comes from like memories of mine or times that I've had that resonated a feeling or feelings in me that
Sure.
like little activities or the little things that I can do can give me a little piece of that
They're like, yeah,
without without
you're
being there.
replicating it to an extent. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll always think of um like listening to 70s music. I always will feel like I'm at my cabin. No
Yes.
matter where I am,
Yep.
what I'm doing, if I put on 70s music, I feel like I'm at my cabin
Yep.
because it's always on there. Or like I said with the Chardonnay, like I can drink it and be like, oh wow, that was a great sunset, in
Right.
California.
It puts you in a place. Yeah. Nostalgia, dude.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, I don't know how long we've been on here.
What time?
Like an hour and a
Yeah,
half?
how long has this been? Oh, probably yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't
Probably
have like a
about that
running
long.
time around here.
No, I have no idea.
But yeah, I don't know. Should we hit the hay? We got stuff to do
Yeah, I'm
tomorrow.
probably about time for me. I'm an hour
Yeah.
ahead of you.
All right. I stopped doing that question that I used to do.
Oh, you did? Okay.
For all the guests. Yeah, people weren't like getting it as much as I thought. I don't know if I
Uh,
was asking it weird or what. Maybe I got to rethink about it because I like doing the question. But tell the audience where they can find your podcast at, and if they want to follow your podcast, and then follow yourself.
yeah. You can follow me on Instagram at Alex_Marolt 11, and I think you should check. Is that an? No, that's not right. Even somehow my no, but my handles got weird at one point. It's just Alex_Marolt is my Instagram one. I had something weird where like my Twitter and Instagram were different at one point in time. But anyways, you can find the podcast on any major podcast platform, similar to what yours are, I'd imagine.
Is it
Spotify,
on?
Apple Music,
It's on Apple Podcasts now. Cool.
Apple Podcast. Yep. So should be able to find it on those. Yeah.
The Instagram I think is just whose pick is it anyways.
Yeah, the Instagram is at whose pick is it anyway. Yep.
Yeah, and you'll see there like when they release new episodes and the
Put our
polls
polls up and all that.
Yeah. So yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Have a great week. Wash your hands. Find a good book to read. Find a project to do in your house that you've been thinking about for a while, and now you have the time to do it, and just get it done. Like I was thinking about cleaning my truck for a long time. And finally I just got like, I was like sitting around like, I definitely have time to do this. I just need to get my ass up and do it. So
yeah.
Audience, go find a little project to do, whether it's clean your car, clean your house, putting together a cabinet, putting some plants in. I bet a lot of people are like ready to put some flowers and plants in their yard. We're thinking about doing that here. Yeah, everyone, have a great week. Thanks.
Thanks, Ty. That was fun, man.